Hey, you guys, welcome. It is Tuesday and we are here for our live. I'm Erica Joanne and I work with paint and color pencil together on the same surface. And today we're going to be working on the little hold on for just a second. Gotta make sure you're on. Yes, today we're going to be working on the little lucky Clover. And if you have gone to my website, you can purchase the e-pattern for $3 and get the line drawing and everything. So your line drawing you want to print out. I'm going to see if I can't bring this up a little bit so you can see. So you can get a printout and a simple e-pattern, which does not include instructions. Just want to warn you, it doesn't include instructions. It does have your palette list and your line drawing and your color guide, but it does not include instructions. Just want to give you that heads up. So it's $3. Your instructions will be here on the video. So I'm just cutting out right from my pattern. You can print it out on your printer, and then you just make sure that this little box measures 1 inch by 1 inch and you got the right dimensions. Put this aside. You'll need a piece of watercolor paper. This is 140 cold press watercolor paper. It has, because it's cold press, it has texture to it and makes it have a few little ridges on it. But I like that. I really, really, really like it. And that's the way I do my paintings, is with the 140 cold press. So you got your little lucky Clover to put on there, and we'll just go ahead and trace it together. I like to just work on all this together with you guys. So you'll want some gray graphite paper to do that. And you see, I've been using my gray graphite paper a lot. And then you'll want some tape. I like to tape it down. You know, a little bit of painter's tape is so nice to have in your painting area or your craft area. So you want to paint, you want to go ahead and tape down. I'm going to bring this up a little more. Okay, move it down. I'm going to get you guys here all in camera here. Okay, so you'll want to tape everything down. And I've already kind of put a little marking around my watercolor paper. This is 6 by 6 inches. And so I'll just kind of match my pattern to that and tape it, both of them down at the same time. Okay. But welcome, you guys. It's been a little while. I had to skip a session, but we did, was it last week? I can't remember. We did this dog, our last session together. That was so fun. I enjoyed him so much. I think he turned out delightful. So if you're interested in doing the dogs with me, there is a little dog book that you can purchase that has all these different that's already etched for you, so that you can work right along with me. You don't have to transfer anything. I know a lot of you like that when you don't have to transfer, and I do too, but you know, sometimes we can't get away with it. We have to just go ahead and do the transferring. But if you want to join in with me and do the dogs, I'm going through this whole book and working on all the projects in the book. And you can see there's 12 of them on the back. There's 24 pages, so each one is duplicated. And we've done, let's see, we've done that guy, we've done him, and him. Well, I don't think it was that one. We did this one. We did that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there anyone else we did? 5. We've done 5 so far. So we're working through them, and we'll just keep working on it. I'm taking a little break from the dogs this week to do a holiday themed project. I love St. Patrick's Day, so I am a little bit Irish. So yeah, we have to do that, right? Sometimes we have to take a little break and do something different. We'll get back to the dogs in a little bit. It's going to be about 3 weeks before we get back to the dogs. We're going to take another break and then we'll get back to the dogs in about 3 weeks. So if you are paying attention to the emails, you'll know when that's going to happen. We'll make sure and let you know. And we'll put a little Facebook event page out there so that you can always join the event if you want. So I'm just kind of checking things, make sure we're on good. I am going to pull you up on my other screen so I can see your comments. Let's see here. Have any comments here? Oh, there you are. Okay. It just took me a little bit. Okay, so hey, Sandy, how are you? And Robin, it's good. Yay. Yeah, we'll be doing the dogs, but we'll also kind of step away from the dogs sometimes and do another little project. For sure, I've got to do an Easter project. So yeah, just know we'll just be mixing it up here and there. Okay. Go ahead and get ready to transfer. You're going to want to put the darker side down of your graphite paper. And then you want a nice pointed stylus to do your transferring, or a pen. A ballpoint pen works good too. So I think I might use a ballpoint pen this time just to kind of show you you can do it that way too. We're going to transfer everything on here. Don't worry about it. We'll just get it all on there because we're going to be using washes of color and we'll see through the color to see the whole design. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And like I said, you can use a ballpoint pen. A lot of people do this so they know where they've transferred. See, I've got a blue line there. It tells me, okay, I've transferred there already. This is one of those nice sharp. It's a 0.5 millimeter ballpoint pen. I love the thinner ballpoint pens. So it makes a nice kind of crisp transfer when you use a smaller point there. Okay, at one point I'm going to need to just lift it up and make sure I'm getting it on there right. And because I have it taped, I'm not going to move anything. This is teachable art that we're doing. Some people think I cannot draw, I can't paint. And I'm here to tell you you can, because we make every step easier for you. You have your line drawing that you can transfer onto your surface. And then you have the instructions, which in this case it's going to be from this video. You have your palette list, tells you what supplies you need. And we have all those supplies available on our website. We really try to make it convenient for you so that you can just go to one place and get it all. Okay, I got the basic lines on. I'm going to go ahead and just work from top to bottom and get everything on there. We've been working hard on our membership boxes. We have a membership group and it's closed right now, but it will open again next year. So, but just for all our box members, just know your boxes are being worked on real hard right now. They're going to go out soon. We are very excited about the results. My husband worked so hard on the laser, getting all the wood ready, all the surfaces ready for you. Hey, Linda, I just saw your comment there. Welcome, welcome. So today is a nice day in Western Washington. It's a little bit cloudy and a little cool, but there is some sunshine, so I'm not complaining at all. There's a little bit of sunshine out there. Okay, almost got one little part of the clover done. Yesterday, we helped our daughter go to the take her son in for a checkup. It was in the big bad city of Seattle, so we went with her. It was fun. So I had a little Grammy time yesterday. I never can get enough of that. Okay, just keep working through your design. If you're new to the channel, I do mini workshops and we've done some fun things. A lot of my videos are temporary up on the webs or up on my YouTube page. So if you're interested in seeing what it is, you might want to go check it out soon. Not everything stays up forever. I do want to keep things up for at least a year. But we're having fun here and we're on every Tuesday. Well, except for the next 2 Tuesdays, I'm not gonna be on, but, um, most of the time I'm gonna be on Tuesday at 3 PM Pacific Time, and we just like to do fun art pieces together where we mix color, pencil, and paint. I call it paint and pencil. Okay, getting around it. Go. The blue line, I have to say it's kinda nice because I don't have to, you know, be double checking everything to make sure I did it all, which I'm constantly doing. But having the blue line there kind of tells me I'm good, and it's coming out nicely. You want a nice light transferred line. It doesn't need to be too dark. Just something like this. It almost looks like a pencil line. And by the way, we do sell this graphite paper. It's wax free and it works really nicely on watercolor paper because you don't get all the smudges that you would get on your paper with the waxy paper. Also, the wax-free paper, it erases a little easier than the waxy paper. So I hope you understand that. There's two. So graphite paper comes in two different types of graphite paper. It comes either wax-free, which is great for watercolorists that work on watercolor paper, and it comes also with wax in it. And that works great on like other surfaces like wood or tin. Um, so those 2, and then it also comes in different colors. This is a gray graphite. There's also white graphite paper, and then there's other colors of graphite paper that I don't usually use. I just use the gray or the white, depending on the surface that I'm transferring my design down on. So we just got this transfer paper in. The one thing I noted about it, it is Oh, it goes on light. Even though I'm pressing fairly good, it goes on fairly light. So, but I like that myself because then it's not too dark. So, and you get a you're not I don't have any smudges or anything. I really, really like that because sometimes it can be a messy process depending on your graphite paper. And you get 2 sheets for, like, under $4, so it's not a bad price. And the sheets are fairly big, they're a lot bigger than this. They're, like, double the size of this, so just FYI. Alright. Keep going. It took me a little bit to get this design finished, ready. I wanted a shamrock, and I want it to be a four-leaf clover because a lot of them out there are 3 leaves, the designs anyway, and I was like, "No, I want a four-leaf clover." And I wanted it to be full of flowers and fun. So, it just took me a little bit to figure it out, the shape of the clover, how the design was gonna work in there because it was a little different on this side than it was on this side. So, as you notice, like, there's 3 flowers here and there's only 2 here. So, it's somewhat different on both sides, but it's ready to go, and I'm so excited to enjoy the creative process with you today in creating our little lucky clover. And I started out with a 4-inch by 4-inch design, and I was like, what am I doing? This is too small with especially with all this busy design elements. I thought that's way too small. So I bumped it up to 6 by 6. I hope you like the size. Okay, we are almost there. When you're transferring, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. You just kind of want to get the design down. I go in and out of the lines. It's not super perfect. One more little flower. These flowers kind of remind me of four-leaf clovers too. And then we've got this line here. Okay, I'm gonna lift it up and see if I got everything. Okay, looks good. Can put that aside. And then you can take this and put it in a plastic sleeve with your instructions and keep it for the next time you want to do this pattern again. Sometimes people like to go back and do another one again, or maybe you want to work in multiples. So, yeah, I like to kind of keep everything, not just throw it away and waste it because you might want to do it again. All right, I'm going to keep the background just white. So, we're just going to work on the shamrock itself. I'm gonna pull up my pattern really quick. Also, I want to check out any comments. Well, hi, Charmaine. I'll tell Dale hi too. And Roxanne, hello. And Sandy. She says, I had to do one of my artful webinar pieces over because the graphite made such a mess. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Susie and I have your wax free sheets on the way. Good, good, good. I think you'll like them. I know it can, yeah, the graphite paper can make a big difference. Okay, just want to check something out. Want the color sheet here. Okay, we're going to start out with our pine green. No, back up the truck. Let's start out with our yellow green. We're going to do a light yellow green mix, and that is with yellow green and pine green. So we're going to tone this yellow green is super bright, and I just wanted to tone it down a little bit with the pine green. And as you notice in the pattern, in the E pattern, it calls for more yellow green than it does pine green. So we're going to do a touch of pine green, just one little chocolate chip of pine green. Okay, and that will kind of tone down our yellow green because it is pretty bright. Grab my, I'm gonna just go ahead and mix this with a palette knife here. And we'll just add some water and make this a nice little wash to wash in the color of the clover. We're going to go ahead and do the whole thing with this color, and then we'll go back and do our darker areas with just pine green. We'll just make it a little easier. Okay, so see how that kind of toned that color down a little bit? It's not so bright. Okay, and make a little puddle for yourself. Get it all mixed up. Make sure it's all mixed up. And make a little puddle. And then you can take, I'm just going to grab this 3/8 inch oval wash, and I'm going to water down my paint really good. Water it down. You want it nice and watery. And if you have some extra watercolor paper sitting around, I have a little sliver of it. You can test it on your watercolor paper like that and just make sure it's the right color. You want something like that. Okay. Okay, water it down good. We're just going to do the whole shamrock, whole clover. Have any of you ever found a 4-leaf clover? I have. A long time ago when I was a kid, I did. I found one. I think it was only one time in my life that I found one, but I did. I was so excited, I remember. Super excited. So we're just going to cover the whole thing. This will just make it much easier when we put the darker green in. Try to stay in the lines, the outside boundary. You want to stay that inside that. You're putting a light wash. These are Josania paints, and I love their company, and their colors are beautiful and vibrant and work so well as a base to our color pencils. They make us happy. They keep the painters happy with brushes and paint. And I'm a mixed media artist. I do love to add other little things to my art. And I do work with color pencils and other embellishments. I love to add jewels to my artwork, twine, beads sometimes, buttons. I get creative. So go ahead and do the stem too, putting all the color down right now. We're going to eliminate a step by doing it this way. All right. Got it all down. That's good. And it will be somewhat uneven. That's totally fine. We work with it. We work with the texture and the unevenness and we make it look charming in the end. So it's nice. So we're gonna let that dry for a minute while we grab our other paint. We're gonna work around the light areas and do that with our pine green. So actually, I think I'll put the I gotta think about it for a second. It might be easier to put the warm white down first and then go with our pine green around everything. It's easier to remember that way. So might do pine green next. Or not pine green, warm white, sorry. Don't mean to mix all of you up. We could have left some of these spots open. I didn't do that, but it'll work out okay. Okay, so it doesn't take long for it to dry, but you do want it nice and dry before you add the next paint color. So I'm gonna just wait for a minute. See where you guys are at. Sandy, you found one four-leaf clover too? Yay! I know, it was just were you as excited as I was? As a young girl, that's when I found it. So, yeah, it made me so happy. Okay. All right, so our white areas are gonna be these small flowers, and we're just gonna go in with our warm white and add a base coat. Base coat is your paint is somewhat thin, not like super, super thin, but somewhat thin. And you're gonna just fill in these small little petals just on these ones that kind of look like little shamrocks. Okay. So there's a few of them. Go ahead and avoid the middle. You don't want to do the middle. You just want to do the petals. And doing this will help us with the next step. And I'm just using a round brush to go in there and fill those in. I'm just loading. See, I'm just loading my brush. With my warm white. I think this is just so fun and cute. And if you have a little 6 by 6 frame, this would look so nice in a little frame. Like, it's so nice to have like regular size frames like that you can switch things in and out for the season. Or you can glue this on to an art block. We sell these little plaques and blocks that are the perfect size to glue these onto. There's so many options. You just decide what you want to do with your piece of artwork. Maybe you just want to magnetize it up on your fridge. Maybe you don't care if it's in a frame or glued to a block. So it's up to you. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those flowers. I'm just going to go back and make sure they're nice and opaque with the warm white color. Okay. If you're a VIP, remember you get this pattern for free. It is on the VIP Facebook page. So you don't need to purchase it. However, for those of you that aren't, it's not that expensive. It's only $3. It's a nice little investment. It doesn't cost that much and it will brighten your day. To enjoy a little lucky clover with us. Okay, I'm just getting the second coat on, working around. Okay. Almost done with this warm white. Nice. Okay. All right, for the next color, we're going to use pine green and we're going to work around the light green areas. This is where it gets a little tricky and we'll just take it slow. We'll have fun together. We want to make our background a little darker and then have some of those bright areas show up better. So I just thought doing it this way might be a little easier in working around all the different elements. So you want pine green on your palette, you're going to water that down also. And I'm just going to use my round brush to do this. This way I can get in and out of the little spaces between the flowers easily. Water down your paint pretty good. Okay, make sure everything's dry. We're going to work in sections. So this flower does have the light green in it. We're going to start out by coloring in this little kind of donut shape of the flower with the pine green. Okay, like so. Right? I'm going to bring this down just a little better so you can see it. I have to move my piece somewhat. There we go. Oh, we are. Let's see if I can sharpen this here. There. Is that better? There, that's much better. Okay. So you just want to work around this little area. It looks kind of like a donut shape. Okay. And then we're going to start at the top of here and then go around the flower. So I'm going to bring it up here and I'm going to work around the flower, just in little sections at a time. Try to keep your wash a little bit moist as you're working. So that it will flow better. You'll have to kind of continually add water to it, especially for those of you that live in dry areas. Okay. And we're going to also work around these little leaves on the vine. So kind of pay attention as you're moving around. Now I'm going to keep these edges somewhat moist, okay? I want to, because I'm going to come back to these and I don't want to like a line there. So I'm going to kind of work up here. And around. Let's go back up to the top of this area. And bring that color down around the flower. Now you're going to get some unevenness. Like I said, it is totally fine. Don't fret. We are going to be doing some shading with our colored pencils, and it helps with that a lot and leaves kind of a nice, fun looking background. It's just really cool. So don't fret about that. Now moving down, I'm going to move down towards the center and work around those leaves. If you happen to go over a leaf, you can just quickly add some water to it and then use a paper towel to sop it up. You can take up some of the color. Okay, see, that's how I kind of work in sections. I'm going to go up to this flower here and I'm going to go around my white petals. Just go around all the way around this. We'll be adding some white to these little, I don't know even what you would call those, stems. I don't know. We'll be adding warm white to those later in the game. So don't worry about that. So you can go right over them. This is one of my favorite things to do is to add washes of color to my design. I absolutely love this. I've heard so many people say it's very relaxing. They love this step. Okay, just continue to work around the petals. And don't worry too much about the middle. We're going to be adding a dot to the middle later. Okay, so I got that done. I'm going to move on down, work around these other little leaves. Okay. And I'm moving down towards the bottom of this design. So I'm going to kind of move this up here, there. So I'm going to move down here, working around the leaves. Okay. Fantastic. I really like how it's coming out. Looks wonderful. Just keeping that color going around all your leaves and between the petals. Okay. Got to get more color ready because I'm running out. Yeah, this is a little juicy right here. I'm having fun with that. So I might want to take some of that out on a paper towel so it doesn't get too wet like that. You want it to move, but it doesn't have to be like bubbling so, so much moisture that it's hard to control it. Like right now, I feel like I've got way too much in there. We'll spread it around. Hey. Oh, I love it. Our daffodils are starting to bloom. Oops, I can't go over that leaf. Remember to go around your leaves. If you happen to go inside an area you don't want this paint to be, just sop it up with a little bit of water and a paper towel. Yes, spring is coming. Starting to see evidence of it already. Oops, I did it again. I went into my leaf there. I got it off in time. Okay. Just working it around, working around. Isn't that fun? Loving it. Definitely has that watercolor look to it. Love it. The watercolor is somewhat carefree. I know some people struggle with it, but it really has kind of a carefree look to it. And that's what we're trying to do. I'm working around the middle circle. Now I love the Josanya paints because they do mimic watercolor, and they also can be painted with opaqueness. So you have the versatility of using it watered down or opaquely. I love that. Josanya, great paint. Artist quality, packed with pigment, beautiful colors. Okay, I'm coming up on this flower, which is similar to the one I did above. And I'm going to work around that. All the little petals. Want to keep them the light green color. Okay, I got to get on camera here. That's what I need to do. Let's see. Let's pull it up here for you. Okay. So I'm just kind of working around the design here. Remember those little leaves, they're in the most unexpected places and you might run into one. So be careful as you're working around. So welcome, welcome. If you're coming in, I'm Erica Joanne. We're doing a little mini workshop. These are just quick, fun little projects I do here on YouTube on Tuesdays. And if you like what you see, like and subscribe. You'll get notifications of when I'm on. We primarily use paint and color pencil together. Okay. So you want to keep working over around. It's going to bring. Okay. Hi, Valerie. Hi from Oklahoma. I'm glad you're here. Oh, you thought it was 6 your time? Okay, one more. Let's see, Oklahoma. Well, it's 3 my time, so it'd be 5 your time. Yep, we just started. Yeah, it's live. Definitely, Valerie. Um, we just started with a light, kind of light green mix that was created with pine green and the yellow green, and washed everything down with that. And now we're going back and kind of developing the design by adding more colors. We did use warm white on all the white petals. You can leave them open, you can not paint those warm white areas with anything and just leave them white from the watercolor paper if you want. I just thought it would be easier to instead of having to work around them twice, to just work around them once and then add the warm white. We're just working in sections. You want to work around the light green petals and the white petals. Okay, I'm going to pull this down a little bit so I can get that top section of Clover. I think I'm going to start at the top here. Okay. Just really watch for those leaves. So you can leave those light green. I think the two colors look really well together. Right. Okay. We're on the tail end here, almost done with this step. A little bit more. This clover or this section of the clover is a little more busy than the others because we've got the 3 flowers and all the little leaves we're working around. So you wanna be extra careful working on this section. All right. Getting there. Okay. And there we go. Almost there. Okay. All right. We got it all in there. See how we fixed all that up? Make sure. And it's got some little bit of unevenness. I love that. That's kind of the look we're aiming for. The look of watercolor. And we'll go in with our color pencil next, but we'll let that kind of dry a little bit before we get to that step. Well, hello, Alice. Glad you're here. Fun project. Yes, Linda, it's fun. Okay. Sandy says, yep, it was many moons ago when she found the 4-leaf clover. I think that's always a fun thing to do with kids, is to talk to them about clovers and that if they find that lucky clover, how lucky they are. And Sandy, yes, the white is opaque. Okay. Let's see here. There we go. Oh, I found a new way to make it so I can see your comments. Yay! That makes it a lot easier. I was like trying to scroll around the screen and now I can see your comments right up close. That's good. Okay. Well, we're letting this dry. There's a few little spots. I think I'm going to go ahead and force that dry with my Ranger heat it tool. I do like that. Look at that little effect right there. Isn't that fun? Love it. A little bit of texture going on with our watercolor paper. Okay. Now it's going to curl up a little bit. You can always go back and just turn it around and heat up the back of your paper. Get it to curl the other way. Okay. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel or liked it, I guess there's like a little bell you can ring. um, please do so. We'd love to have you do that and follow us. You get little, I don't know how familiar you are with YouTube, but you get little notifications when we're on live. It'll let you know. Next time you go into YouTube, it'll let you know that so and so is up and has a new video up. So it's a good way to keep in the loop with what's going on. All right, have it dry. We'll go ahead and start with our colored pencils. Our first color pencil is going to be olive green. And here's mine. We're going to be using two color pencils today, olive green and black. So olive green is 911. This is Prismacolor Premier. I like mine nice and sharp. Just don't poke yourself. Okay. We're going to shade the lighter ones first, and then we'll go to the background. So we'll kind of line and shade at the same time. How about that? So I'm going to go ahead and put this line in. You should still be able to faintly see your vein lines or your branch lines. So you have to put that in. You can go ahead and put a little circle around your middle. Let's just work on one section at a time. How about we work on this one right here? Okay, so I'm putting the lines in, just following the design that you lined. Okay, and then let's go ahead and line around all our little light green leaves. We're going to do it lightly though. Okay, so I want you to kind of skip your line along, make it kind of faint. So you see it, but it's not like super strong to where you feel like it's like a comic book. You don't want it to be a comic book. Okay, we're just going to lightly line, kind of skip our line around each leaf. You can put the vein lines in too. And, mine water, when I was going in with the paint, it wasn't exactly perfect, and that's totally okay. I love that quaintness of it. I really do. It's like folk art. Folk art is amazing because of that, having that charming look to it. Okay, we can put our little cinnamon swirl there. And we have these little lines. Go ahead and put the middle of each of these small flowers in, little middle there. And then you have lines radiating out between the petals. They have a little bulb at the end of each one. You can put those in. These can be solid lines. It's just when you're working around your leaves and your petals, you want it to be faint and skippy. Okay. There's one down here too. Okay. So kind of get the idea what we're doing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and line around these white petals too. Also, skip your line along, make it light. It will enhance those petals so that you can see that they're there. There is a little line down the center. Go ahead and add that. Keep your pencil sharp. You want a nice thin line when you're doing that. Let's bring our camera down a little closer. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Skippy, skippy, skippy. A line down the center. Okay, so that's one section. Let's go ahead and line slightly. We're going to skip our line around with this too, around the edge of our clover. So kind of skip, skip, line, line, skip, skip, like that around your clover. Okay, like that. That's what you want to look for. Okay, so we'll just move around to our next one and we'll do the lining on that. Let's get all our lining done and we'll go back in and do our shading. So this one has like a little loop-de-loop up at the top, like this little flourish coming off, like so. We'll go ahead and line around our flower. Can again skip this line along. Around each petal. And there we go. Okay. And skip, skip, skip. So one of you, it sounds like, has found a four-leaf clover. Is there anyone else that has? Okay, this is kind of a disappearing line. I'm going to have to look at my pattern, make sure I get this right. It's that one right there. So bring it around. And then this goes like this and ties into there. And this is another one. And we got one here and one here. Okay, I think I got all my little lines in. Now I can go and work around everything. I'm about ready to sharpen my pencil again. Okay. Right, and then around the outside edge. So these little mini workshops that I do on not Facebook, but on YouTube here with you, they are generally like 1 to 1.5 hours long. I might get a 2-hour one in there once in a while, but most of the time it's going to be around between 1 to 1.5 hours, depending on how the project. This is a little bigger project, but I did try to simplify the steps and keep it nice so that we didn't have too many colors we were working with. Okay, we're moving on to this one. Let's get our lines in. You can make your vein lines, your little branch lines solid. It's just working around the leaves and the petals. I really want you, and the outside edge. I want you to skip your line along. Okay. It's just a repeat. We just keep going around, working around each flower and leaf. Beautiful. Okay, I know I'm missing a line here. Let me see here. Look at my pattern. Okay, this one has a line that comes down like so, curves around, and ties in with the main stem. All right. I gotta check the comments if anyone else found a four-leaf clover, because I know I did. I know another person did. So we have two of us that have. Let's see if there's anyone else. Hi, Sylvia. So she's saying, what do you do if you don't see the lines? I'm kind of having the same issue. So bring your line drawing over and just kind of go by that. Like I knew I was missing this line right here, right here. So you want to make sure and get those in. If you still have problems, like it's just you just can't see them, you might have to go back over with your graphite paper and retrace those lines if it's too troublesome and you can't see them very well. You might have to darken them that way. I've been there, done that. Okay, we're gonna put these little kind of little sketchy lines in here at the bottom of the stem. And moving around, we're in our last clover section. And there's one right here. And one right here. Okay, this one has one going this way. Now I gotta look at that a little harder. Looking at the wrong one. There we go. It's like, I know that's different. Okay, lightly go around your petals. And this flower too. Okay, and then there's a loop-de-loop right there. And one more section of clover I need to line around. Alrighty. Okay, I've got her done. I'm going to pull this out so you can see it. Okay, there we go. Oh no, Sylvia, she says at all. Yeah, you have to trace it again. I'm sorry you can't see it. That's a bummer. Okay, it's coming along. My heater is a little too far away from me. I'm like, oh, I need that heater right up next to me. Okay, we're going to do some shading next and a little paint to finish it off, and we'll be done. So, a little more sharpening. Sharpen that green pencil again. We're still using the olive green pencil. And we're going to work by shading the light green areas first. And it's just a touch of green because I don't want to overpower it. We're just going to add a little bit of light green, little bit of shading to our light green areas. So since this is the bottom of the design right here where our stem is, I'm going to start working up here, and my shading is going to be kind of towards the bottom of the design. So this little section right here in the middle of this flower, I'm going to add a little tiny bit of shading. My shading in these light green areas is with the light value. So you're barely touching the surface. It's just barely touching. Okay. Now we're going to work around this flower and see how each petal, I'm just going to do one petal at a time. I'm just going to put these little kind of horizontal little like what do I want to say, strokes. That's what I want to say. Horizontal strokes on each petal with the darker part of the stroke or that darker section right next to the middle of the flower, and then lightly fade your shading as you go out from the middle of the flower. So it's dark, medium, light, but it's really a light pressure, mostly the whole thing. It's mostly light because you're working over a light base. So you want to keep it very light. I did this for you so that you wouldn't have to have too many pencils going on. So to make this pencil nice and light, we're just going to use light pressure. Start up against the middle of the flower and just do these like kind of little vertical or horizontal lines coming from the middle. And as you go out into the petal, you want to lighten up your pressure. So it's darkest right up against that center area. Bring it in closer again. Let's see. Sorry about that, you guys. Just trying to make sure it's nice and sharp so you can see it good. Okay, so I did a little bit of shading here and then all the way around each petal, radiating out from the center. And it's just very light. See how lightly I did it? Used hardly any pressure. Okay, we're going to move down to this section of leaves right here. And the darkest part of your shading is going to be right up at the base of the leaf. And same thing as with your petals. It's just very light. Okay, so let that color fade as you go out into the petal. Just a tiny bit of pressure. Let it fade. Okay. See, it's hardly any shading at all. It's just a little bit, enough to bring some dimension to it, but we don't want to overpower it. Okay, I'm going to move around and keep working on each of those leaves. Same way, just very light. If you need to, use your eraser to help you. Your eraser can lighten up your shading a little bit by working into your shading. Let's not worry about the white flowers. We're just thinking about our light green areas on the design. Light green areas. So all the light green petals, all the light green leaves. And I'm working on the base of the leaf. That's where my darkest color is. And then as I come up into the leaf, it fades. Okay. Continue to work around. Same thing on all these light green leaves. You're working at the base of the leaf. Just a little bit of shading, but remember to bring it out enough that it fades, just fades into the background. It gradually gets lighter and lighter. Okay, working around these petals. Each one. Okay. We have a ferry that goes nearby, and sometimes you can hear the horn. You know it's a foggy day when you hear the ferry go by and it's honking its horn. It must be foggy out there on the water. So I'm going to shade the middle here at the bottom. So we had a friend come to the area, never been here, and we kind of wanted to show him around a little bit. So we went out to this park and walked along a path that skirted the water around where we live. I'm working on this middle section and just shading the bottom of it. And he had never seen like our area before. He had never been here and he had never seen a ferry either. And it just so happened that a ferry was going by as we were walking along that path. And it was fairly close too, because the area that it was going by, it's kind of a skinny, narrow area. And he could, it felt pretty close. He saw that ferry and just started running to the edge with his camera up, held up. He was so excited about seeing that ferry. I thought he was gonna go over the cliff. I just about ran after him to hold him back. He was so excited. It was a neat sight to see that ferry, so I don't blame him. But luckily he stopped short of falling off the cliff. Okay. All right, so I got all the light green areas done around my light green flowers and all those light green areas. Now I want to shade the background, the dark green area of the background, because I do want that background to feel like it's in the background. Now that I've shaded all these light green areas, it's kind of feels like there's no contrast. I've like taken the contrast away. So we're gonna work around those lighter areas and try to build up our contrast to help separate the two and give it some dimension. And we'll just do one section at a time. I believe so much in working in chunks. You don't try to do it all at once. Let's start down at the stem. I'm going to do some shading from the bottom of the stem. So that's where I start. I want it to be darkest right at the bottom edge of my stem. This is my darkest value. I'm using a little more pressure. Okay, so that's my dark value. Now I'm going into a medium value, which is a little less pressure, and a circular motion. Just kind of overlap those circles as you move along. And then a light value. I want the shading to just blend right into the background and just fade right into the background. So you got your dark, medium, and light value going on, and you're letting it fade into the background. Okay, that brought some contrast to that. That looks nice. All right, let's work in sections. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to start up here on this area right here. Okay, let's first shade around our white flowers. So we're going to shade in between each of the petals. It's going to be darkest right against the center of that flower, but you're in between the petals. Okay, don't work on the petals, just in between. We'll do each of the white flowers like that on this section. I think we'll kind of complete each section and before we move to a new one. Okay, so like that. Okay, darkest right up against the center of the flower. Let it fade as you move out away from the center. Work on each of these little flowers. To get that fade, go very lightly, barely touch the surface to get the fade. If you need to, you can erase into your fade to lighten up the edge of your shading and to get it to blend more into your background. You can use your eraser to do that. Okay. There's one more right here. Let's do this one too. Okay. All right. Now we have our main kind of like stem, our branch. Let's work around that too. So I'm going to start kind of down here where it ties in with this circle here in the middle. Okay. And I'm going to just kind of shade on both sides of that branch. Moving up, work around your leaves. Let the edges, as you move out from the branch like that, move out like that, let those edges fade into the background. Just working right over my branch and let it fade on both sides. Work around your leaves. You can go one side and then to the other side. So, but your darkest area is going to be following that branch line. That's your darkest value. And then fade out from there on both sides. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way around the twirl there, just slightly up that area. Like that. Let's do the same on this other branch or stem, whatever you want to call it. And let it fade in between our leaves. See how that's creating some contrast? Okay. All right. Now I'm going to shade this area right here on that section. So it's kind of a longer area of shading. So I'm just going to work in sections, like go ahead and work like in an 1.5 inch section. That's my dark value. And then I'm going into my medium value and my light value. Let it fade. Okay. And you can keep layering like that. See how I'm kind of blending all those values together. Okay, that's one section. I'm going to bring it down here. This is my dark value, a little bit more pressure. Medium value, I go into a circular motion, and light value. Blend those together. Yeah, sharpen my pencil again. See how I'm building up some contrast? It's helping kind of things stand out a little bit better against the background. Okay, let's work this way. I'm just kind of doing the tips of these main leaves. Dark value up against the edge, medium value, and then light value. Okay. All right, so see how I'm trying to do that? Okay. Now, as we come into this area in between the two main sections, I'm going to do a little shading in this little corner here. The darkest part of my value is right up against the edge, and let it fade as it comes out from there. Work around your leaves. Okay, so something like that. Okay, we're going to do that in each one now. We'll move over to this one. Let's see, let's shade the bottom area of this middle section of the flower. That's my dark values right at the bottom. And then lightly pull up your pressure as you go up the edges there. Okay, so there's my stem. I want it to be at the bottom of this flower here. Okay, let's work on our branch lines. We're going to work right just down, just kind of do your shading, follow that branch line, shade out the edges of the branch line and let them fade. But the darkest part of your value is going to be right up against the main line there. Let it fade out from there. Okay. Okay, and then same thing that we did before. I'm not going to worry about this one right here. We are going to shade up against the edge like we did before. And as we bring it down, let it fade. We are going to use a black pencil, so we will darken up that line there. Okay. Okay, this is what we got so far. Moving over to this one. Oh, trying to think if there's anything else. No, we're good. We're going to go ahead and shade in between these petals, the white flower petals. Just about forgot those. Don't want to forget that. Okay. And then let's do the edge here of our shamrock. And we want these edges to fade too. So you're not only letting it fade as you come down, but you want these edges to fade also over here and here. Okay, let them fade. Now we've got this middle section right here. We're going to shade a little bit there too. Okay. Let's also, we've got the petals around here. Let's shade in between each of these petals and let the shading come out and fade from there. So it's dark value in between the petals. Let the shading fade. Okay. Yeah, so just work around the flower like that. So you have a little bit of contrast going on. Okay. We'll keep working. We have two of these white flowers. We want to shade between the petals. Dark, medium, and light. Okay. What other color pencil? Valerie says, what other color pencil would you use if you're too heavy-handed with your green? Let's see. Let me see if I can find a green that would work for that if you wanted to be less heavy-handed. Ah, apple green would probably be good for you. Apple green. Okay, gotta sharpen my pencil again. Okay, working in between each of these little petals. And we're going to go up the branch and shade along the branch. Just follow that branch along. I have a neat effect there. I don't want to totally cover that up because I love it. So I'm going to avoid covering that up. And then also this middle section, I want to shade around that. Okay. Cute. It's fun. I think we're gonna pick a winner. I'll just let you keep working here while I pick someone that's gonna win a prize. So the prize would be an e-pattern, a free e-pattern from our e-pattern library. The Whimsy by the Sea boxes are being packed as we speak. So we're hoping we maybe can get some off by the end of the week or early next week. Hello, Lisa. So I'm gonna pick a winner, just random. Okay, let's see. Sandy. Sandy, you're a winner today. Sandy in Florida. She's one that found one of the four-leaf clovers also. So congratulations, Sandy. You get an e-pattern from our e-pattern library. So just email me at ask at ericajoanne.com and let me know your choice of e-pattern and I will send it to you. Okay? I'll email it to you. So you email me, I'll email you back with your e-pattern. All right. So good to see everyone. And I believe this is the same Sandy that won our box challenge, or not box challenge, but our door challenge that we did in our membership group. I think you're the same Sandy. Or maybe that's Susie. That's your sister. That's right. It's your sister. So Sandy, you get a free e-pattern. Okay. Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to keep working on these little branches. Keep working on it. Work around the leaves. After this one, we only have one more section to do, and then we can move over to our black pencil. Okay. I'm going to work up to this little leaf, and then I'm going to leave the little cinnamon roll swirl alone. I'm not going to do too much on that. So, kind of like that. All right. Now we'll work on the end here. We want some shading from the tip of our leaf. And then bring it down. Let it fade. My pencil's starting to get short. I might want to put an extender on it. When it starts feeling short and uncomfortable, it's time to put an extender. Okay. Let it fade. Okay, now we have this little area right here. Same thing, we want to shade around that area. Okay. Nice. It's coming along. It's looking cute. Okay, we have one more here. So let's go ahead and follow our branch again. I'm just doing like a little circular motion as I work on that. So I got you guys, I got to tell you about a good movie I saw recently. I think I told you maybe before. Some of you might have already heard this, but Solo Mio is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, got to go check it out. It's a good movie. Um, we happened to go. I don't know if it's still in the theaters. It will be in video if you. It's not in the theaters yet, but or still in the theaters. But we went just kind of not sure what we were gonna watch, and that one popped up, so we thought, "Oh, let's give it a try." And it has Kevin James in it, who is just hilarious. So he was in it, and yeah, it was awesome. There's some surprise guest people in it also, which I won't break the surprise. I'll just let you figure that out when you watch it. Good movie. Okay, I'm gonna shade around this middle section here. And then we'll work around our cute little flower, kind of the dark value right between each petal. Just keep working around that flower. My dad loved St. Patrick's Day, and he would always say, "We're Irish." And we are Irish, but we're also very Scottish too. But we, celebrated St. Patrick's Day, and I had a friend tell me some of the traditions they did in their house, and I thought, "Oh, I missed out. I should have used these traditions in my house. That would have been fun." So they have leprechauns that come and visit their kids. Well, they're not kids anymore. They're grown adults now, but a long time ago, she would have leprechauns visit her children. And weren't always nice leprechauns. Huh. They would leave funny little notes for the kids and little footprints and crackers in the bed, and they were mischievous. So that's how they celebrated. I thought, "Oh, I totally missed out on doing that with my kids. Darn it." That would have been fun. Nowadays, kids build leprechaun traps to try to find those leprechauns, catch them. But somehow they always get away. Do you have any fun St. Patrick's Day traditions that you do at your place? Sometimes we do corned beef. I'm not a real big fan, so I'd rather just have a roast. But we have done that. We've done the corned beef. Okay, work around this middle here, this little area, the corner. Okay, we'll bring this out so you guys can see it better. Well, I'll have to bring it back in. So anyway, I'm just going to show you like this. This is what it looks like. Okay, so our next color is the black, and we're going to go in and kind of refine and strengthen the shading in some areas. definitely strengthen our line work because that's going to need some strengthening. And then we'll work on finishing up with some paint. Okay, we want a nice sharp pencil. Let's start back down at the stem. I'm going to lightly line, slightly, around some of my stem. I'm picking up my pencil a lot. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Oops. Okay, so I kind of did up against this area and then a little bit down here. And then we're going to also skip our line along right here, kind of strengthen what we did before. We're not totally covering up the green, but adding some blackness there so it clarifies and cleans it up. Okay, we'll just start moving it. We'll work around. Okay, so I'm going to just slightly line around my edge. This is just kind of cleaning up the edge around the section. And my lining is in the darkest areas around that. Okay. Robin says the weather's been crazy lately everywhere. I haven't, yeah, it's been windy here. Yes, very special memories, Sandy. Cool, huh? So Charmaine says, look up a recipe from Cole Cannon. It's yummy. Is it the meat recipe? I'll have to try it. Oh yes. Yes, Sean Connery and Darby O'Gill in The Little People. That is a great little show. So yes, I'm still here. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Let's see. Is my microphone working? It's kind of turned around. Okay. Hopefully you hear me. Okay, I am going to make sure it's. Yes, that movie is great. It's been a while since I watched it too. I'm gonna have to go put it on. Okay, good. I'm glad that you can hear me. Okay, I'm still using my black. I'm gonna just kind of slightly and lightly line around some of my areas. I'm not gonna cover everything. Just, kind of enhance your lining a little bit. Definitely a nice solid line when you're working over the branches. Nice good line there, and your flourish. You can do a solid line. Put a little bulb at the end of your flourish. So that really clarifies things. Look at the difference. That helps a lot. Okay, we're going to slightly line around our petals. We're just kind of cleaning it up. It doesn't need to take you too long. Just kind of lightly go around each petal a little bit. So you don't have to, you know, do a solid line. You can just kind of slightly line around that. Slightly line around the darkest areas of your little leaves so you can bring some contrast there. Okay. And then these lines right here, I want you to make those nice and dark and around the middle. Okay. I think that's good enough for those little flowers. Around the middle, slightly, or go ahead and put nice solid lines in between those little stem lines that come out. Okay. Go ahead and just start moving around your piece. Nice dark lines for your stems and branches. Slightly line around the outside edge of your shamrock, your four-leaf clover, especially in the darkest areas of shading. Lightly around the darkest areas around your leaves. Okay. All right. This should go a lot faster than your green pencil did. Just keep working around. And remember to do a little bit of lining around the outside edge of your shamrock. Concentrate on those darkest areas. Okay, follow that line work. When you come to these little swirls, you can put a little bulb at the end of the swirl, like almost like a comma stroke. Okay. And then a little bit around your petals. Okay. And that's good. And I've already gone around the edge there, so I'm going to flip around and work on the next one. Okay. That helps so much to see those lines, huh? And I'm just, working slightly around some of those leaves, especially in the darkest areas. Okay. One more. A few more little leaves I need to work on. Right, did I get it done? Oh my gosh, I think I did. There. All right, I'm very happy with that. That turned out really good. Now I will zoom out so you can see it. Okay, let's see here. Okay. There we go. All right. There we go. Okay, I'm very pleased with that. I think that came out very nice. So we just have a few little painted highlights to add, and then you can on your own add, you can do whatever you want. You could add glitter, you could add jewels, you could add buttons. I think it would be really cute to have a button in the middle, maybe little buttons on your flowers. Just have fun with it. But I will finish off with you on the painted steps. You're going to want to make sure that your background is nice and clean before you add your fast drying glaze medium. Now, the fast drying glaze medium is what helps set the pencil work before you add more paint. I'm just erasing any spots I think I don't want there. So I'm going to add this fast drying glaze medium. This is a medium by Josanya, and it's a light sealer. It works so good. I love it. This, you can use it in so many different ways. You guys just make sure and read the instructions. There's so many great things on the instructions that will tell you all about it. You can work over it. It's so great. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that on my palette. I want to use a nice, soft, dry brush to add my sealer or my fast drying glaze medium with. So make sure my brush is dry. I'm going to add the fast drying glaze medium. I already added it to my brush. Your brush needs to be dry. It needs to be soft before you add the fast drying glaze medium. Just go ahead and wipe that across your piece like that. Just work down. Gently add the glazing medium. Make sure it's the fast dry. You can use the glazing medium. There is a separate glazing medium that Josanya uses, but I like to use a fast dry because it doesn't smear as easy. It doesn't smear your colored pencils as easy. The regular glazing medium tends to smear it a little more. So that's why I want you to be really gentle when you put it on. Make sure that you don't work it really hard or add too much pressure when you're adding the fast drying glaze medium. The glazing medium, you can use it, but you have to be like so careful because it can smear your pencils really easy. So I just really recommend you using the fast drying glaze medium for this step. Oh, what's going on? I see all kinds of stuff going on. You guys talking. I'm still here. Let's see here. Oh, I froze up for a minute, Robin said. Oh, too bad. Darn it. So Carol says, we are under tornado watch here in the Kansas City, Missouri area. Ooh, that's no fun. Stay safe, Carol. And same there in southwestern Oklahoma. Valerie, you stay safe too. And Carol says some areas to the north and west of us have had hail up to 3 inches in diameter. So far, it is all going north of us. Whew, wow, that's scary. Thank you, Carol. Valerie says, are you going to add white to the flower parts? Yes, I'm going to add white. I always like to do that to kind of clean it up a little more. And we'll be touching a few areas up with the white and then dotting, adding some dots. So just want to get this fast drying glaze medium nice and dry. Looks like I got some right there. Okay. If you get any of the paint or pencils out in this area around here, looks like I'm still freezing up. If you get some of the paint in the area on the background, You can always go over your background with warm white. If you have a smudge or, something happens, you can always do that. Okay, warm white. Let's get back to our painting. I'm just going to take my round brush and a fresh little puddle of warm white and touch up some of those little white petals. So if you feel like you want to add a little more whiteness to those, you can, or if you need to clean them up a bit, probably should zoom it in closer for you. But this is just kind of a finishing step. It cleans it up. Okay. Cute, cute. Little bit of cleanup work makes a big difference. We'll dot the centers, or you can put like little jewels in the centers and not worry about dots. I'm going to leave that up to you. You decide. Oops. Okay. I got to get off soon and keep working on our subscription boxes. So I'm trying to make this quick, you guys. Oops. I've got a few things I got to get done by the end of the day today. Okay. Little cleanup. I was watching Mary Poppins the other day. I love that show. And the funny part that I totally forgot about was when all the nannies were at the house door, and they were applying to be a nanny, and the east wind came in and blew them all away. And they all had umbrellas, and so they all floated away with their umbrella. I totally forgot that part of, Mary Poppins. Oh, so cute. And they were all floating away in different positions. So one was stretched out, one was like Superman style. It was cute. But I was thinking about the clean up the toy room scene, and I was thinking about how that kind of applies to our cleanup of our designs, and wish I could just blink and the brush would do its work. Do a little nod and it would just be like, "Yep, got it." Little magic going on. But alas, we gotta do it ourselves. Okay, almost done. I'm just kinda getting in some of those areas that aren't quite covered. Okay, there. There we go. let's add a little warm white. I'm going to do a little highlighting at the tip of my leaves with the warm white. Just a little tiny bit at the tip of my leaves. Just a touch. I'm not hardly putting any on there, just enough to brighten it up. And I also, when I do this warm white little highlighting, I take some of the color off on a paper towel before I go to my piece, so I'm not putting too much color down. Just a little bit on the tips. Okay. Let's see. Don't want too much paint on my brush. This is also good for kind of cleaning up those tips too, because sometimes you get pencil on the tip. Okay. See how I just a little bit here and there. It's not a lot. And let's do the same on our flower petals. This also is a great way to clean it up. Just a little stroke on those flower petals. Just on the tips. Okay. Getting there, getting there. Okay. Good enough. All right, now we will do our dots. Oh, let's see. Trying to think if I want to make those strokes or dots. It would almost be better if they were dots because it would be easier. How about we do dots? What we'll do, I'm going to show you a kind of a cool dot that you can do. Okay, I gotta find. You want a smaller stylus. You see that stylus? You want it smaller, okay? On the small side. You want to add a little bit of moisture to your warm white. So you have, it's kind of, uh, it's just not chunky. It's like, it has a little more flow to it. I want to say like thick soup. Okay. So this is what I'm thinking. We can do, probably better do it this way. So begin like a dot and then kind of pull it down a little bit. Do you see what I'm saying? So go in the wider area of that end and put in your dot and then just pull it down a little bit. So dot and then pull. So it makes kind of like oblong. Let me see. Okay, let's do that on each of these flowers. Dot and then pull. But you do need a sharp stylus or a small stylus to do this. Dot and pull. Okay. See kind of where I'm going with that? Let's do that on each flower. Dot, pull. It's almost like a little stroke, but you're doing it with your stylus. It makes it almost look like a Q-tip end Be sure not to smear your work. Dot, pull, dot, pull. They should look like little Q-tips. Dot, pull. Okay. Really try really hard not to smear it. Sometimes it's a stretch, but try not to smear it. Dot, pull. Yeah, you'll have to go watch it, Valerie. It'll make you laugh. It's so funny. And they do a little nod to The Wizard of Oz in that show that I'd never caught before. But because we have like Wicked and all that going on, I just noticed it. So go try to find it. Go watch it and try to find it. Okay. I think I got them all. That's good. Right. Okay. I'm going to do a little green dot in the centers. I'm just going to do those with the plain yellow green. Let's just go with yellow green and do a dot in the centers. We don't need to tone it down or anything. So nice bright yellow green. Add some flow medium or water to your paint to get it to flow. So you don't have a chocolate chip dot. You're going to put a little green, light green dot in the center of all those flowers that you just put your white ends on. So I'll give you a hint to find the nod to The Wizard of Oz. It includes Bert. So look at those scenes with Bert. It includes him. I can't wait to hear if you found it. Okay, I got those dots on. I think I want to add some random dots to the background a little bit. Like, I just kind of want to put some in the darkest areas. These little green dots here and there. Do it in the dark areas where you've shaded. Just a few little, just random, like so. You can make them larger and smaller. Just have fun. Do little polka dots here and there in the dark shaded areas. Be careful not to smear. You'll see it better if you do it in those darkest areas. They'll dry and they'll kind of be subtle, but they'll be fun. Okay. Few more. Okay, lastly, I want to put some light little white dots on these flowers. That's how I want to finish it off. So you need your white, and you're going to put a little dot at the base of each of these flowers. You'll see it better because that's where you did your shading. I think I'm going to use the other end of my stylus so I get a nice big dot there. There. And around this flower also. Almost there. Okay. Well, that is just superb. Loving it. Now, if I could find me a nice green button, that would be so cute in the middle. And I'm definitely going to put some rhinestones around and dress it up, sparkle it up. But I think we did pretty good for today. So, all right. Well, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that and let you finish it. Please send us some photos. I would love to see what you do. And we might highlight your photo or focus your photo in one of our groups. We have the Paint and Pencil with Us group. If you're not familiar with that Facebook group, that's a fun one. It's you can just get on free, Paint and Pencil with Us on Facebook, and we might highlight your project on that page. So definitely share your projects there. We would love to see it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. And I will be skipping for 2 weeks. I'm going to play hooky for 2 weeks. I won't be on, but the third week I will be back and we will start back up with our dog book. So we're going to be doing another project in our dog book. So stay tuned. We have several projects up already, so you guys check that out on Facebook if you are not on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. This is our last project we did, so check that out. You might enjoy doing that if you enjoy dogs. These are really simple, fun little projects. Don't require a lot of materials. All you need to do is order the book from us. It's called Pups and Portraits on our website. And our website, here's our website. I'm going to show this to you really quick. ericajoanne.com. You can see all our stuff there. We have brushes and paint and pencils and lots of projects that you can either download or buy the kits and patterns from us. So go check that out when you get a chance. It was so great to sit and paint and pencil with you again. I hope you had fun. Hope you had fun. Enjoy. Ta-ta for now.